When I was doing Fresno, Dabney Coleman's manager called me and asked if I would be interested in doing a show for Dabney. And I said, I would love to, but I said, I've just turned over Newhart and I'm doing Fresno and I'm doing the Popcorn Kid, and I said, I just think it's irresponsible to try to take on another show. So I said, as much as I would love to, I can't. And at something like 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up, having had the conversation earlier in the day, and I was having a dream about Kay Stevenson, a person that I've never met. But Kay Stevenson was the coach of the Buffalo Bills, professional football team. And what struck me when it woke me up is I said, why would I be having a dream about Kay Stevenson? I'm having this dream about a guy I've never even seen his face. I have no idea. And I started thinking back, and I went, you know what it was? I'm sure I went to bed and I was thinking about Dabney Coleman. And then I was thinking about Dabney Coleman because he'd done Buffalo Bill, and somehow I started dreaming about Buffalo Bill, and that became the Buffalo Bills. And now I've got a dream about Kay Stevenson. This is all unraveling in my head and it suddenly hit me, and I said, Dabney Coleman as the coach of a football team is not a bad idea. And this is the only time I've ever done it. I got up out of bed and I wrote 7 pages of notes and put it away because I didn't have time to do it. So when I went over to Universal to start Bungalow 78, I told them I had this idea for the show, and Carrie was, very supportive of it. And I said I said Dabney's no longer available because he went off to do, I think it was Slap Maxwell at the time. So, so I had this whole idea written out for him, but now I didn't have him. So we were trying to figure out where to take it, because obviously I had a relationship with CBS because of Newhart. And coming of age, and ABC had been asking us to do a show. So we really felt that the concept of Coach was not really a concept that would either work on CBS, be compatible for CBS, but we felt it could work on ABC. And the only concern we had was the fact that because it was a football coach, that it might not, maybe it wouldn't seem relatable. We, so thought about how to pitch it. So rather than pitching it as a show about a football coach, I pitched it, in which was the core of the idea, which is I said, imagine, I want to do a show about a guy who's in his early 40s, who probably his biggest flaw is that he's ambitious, which is more often than not portrayed as something that you shouldn't be. And I said his ambition has cost him his marriage. It's cost him his relationship with his daughter. I said he's basically a guy who's now in his early 40s. He's spent 20 years pursuing a dream. And I said at the end of 20 years, he's not really there. He's in the world that he wanted to be in, but I said he hasn't reached the pinnacle. And he may never reach the pinnacle. And yet it's cost him a lot in terms of his relationships. He's been a bit of a nomad. He's moved around from job to job. And I said, so he's just at a point in his life where he has to start deciding, do I stay on this path and continue to give up these relationships, or do I try to put those back together? And I said, so really it's a show about balance. And I said, I want his daughter to come back into his life, and they understand. I'm also pitching this to but executives that are all roughly the same age and feel like, in some ways, like we've all done that with our lives, that we've put too much into our career and not enough into our family or whatever. So they said, well, this sounds great. They said, what is it he does? And I said, well, I thought about making him a TV executive or a TV producer, but I said I didn't think that was going to be very relatable to most people. So I said, well, what would be relatable to most people? So I said, I thought I'd put him in the Midwest at a big university and make him the football coach, because that's one of those things where everybody in the Midwest knows football coaches are heroes in these towns, and they live in a fishbowl, and This guy has no private life, and so everything is under a microscope. And they bought it. They thought it was great. But I had set it up so that no one really thought of it as being a show about football. And they were a little concerned then when I wanted to call it Coach, because they thought, that sounds too much like football. Can you call it something else? But we stuck it out.